So hello and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm currently a sophomore at Vassar College, which is a small liberal arts college in Poughkeepsie, New York. But Vassar was not where I had originally planned on going. I really only thought I would be going to one school, and if you saw the thumbnail, you might know which school that is. It was Brown University. And there were a lot of reasons that I was attracted to Brown University. It had like a 6:1 student to faculty ratio. It had no core curriculum, which was a major part of, what drew me to it. Because I still don't know, but I didn't know what I wanted to study. And so just having that freedom to explore was really important to me. I also really fell in love with the location, so it was in a urban location, but the city was very small, it was very artsy, it was not as cluttered as New York City. There were still trees around and a river, and it was very old-fashioned looking. And when I went to visit the school, I actually just remember falling in love with the campus because it was so beautiful and it was very like old-fashioned, and I really liked that type of architecture, so yeah, it was just perfect. I'd be lying if I said the name of Brown University itself didn't play a role. I'd worked hard in high school and I wanted to showcase that in where I went to school, and I wanted to stand out from my peers because my particular public high school was very, there weren't a lot of motivated people. Like throughout high school, I always wanted to challenge myself more, and I felt like I was limited by my surroundings, and so I really wanted to go to a school that would challenge me and where I would be challenged by my peers and where my professors would actually, be a little bit more passionate and knowledgeable about what they were teaching. And so just the name itself was attractive, and the fact that the alumni network was very strong. But those other factors also played a role too, and ultimately I adopted that school as my dream school. Yeah, I really attached my identity to the school. Like, I defined my success as getting into that school, and if I didn't get into that school, basically like my whole life would have been for nothing. Basically, I defined this school as my dream school in 8th grade, so everything that I did in high school was an effort to get into Brown. All the professors knew it, my guidance counselor, she definitely knew it. She ended up actually getting my phone number, and we would talk sometimes because she knew I was really stressed about getting into the school. And I wore the merch all the time. I had the pens, I had a water bottle. Yeah, I was super obsessed and everybody knew it. Yeah, I also spent the summer there before 11th grade, I believe. I took a sustainability environmental leadership course there, which was kind of a little bit off campus. It was actually in the middle of the woods. But I just remember falling in love with the university even more from that experience. Yeah, my first piece of advice there is that I know you want to tell everyone and you want to wear the merch and you want to show your passion to other people, but I would recommend kind of only telling your close friends and your family, because when decision time comes, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on you if everybody knows, and you're gonna get those stupid questions oh, did you get in? And then you're gonna be well, you see, and then just start sobbing. But yeah, I did get some of those questions, and I would just kind of dodge the question. I didn't want to openly say that I was rejected outright because I viewed that as an absolute failure, and I viewed myself as a failure. Yeah, so I would definitely not recommend broadcasting it to everyone, because at the end of the day you are going to be held accountable to that. It is cool to tell people your very close friends and your family, because they can keep motivating you, but at the same time, I wouldn't make it a public service announcement. Looking back on it now though, I actually feel I didn't know a lot about Brown's actual curriculum, not curriculum, but their actual majors and the classes that they offered within each major, which if you're interested in the mistakes I made in my college decision process, I will link it in one of these corners, and I definitely recommend checking that out after this video, because I really talk about everything that I wish I knew in the college decision process, and one of them was looking into the specific courses in their catalog and looking at the major curriculums. That's something that I even didn't do for Brown. Yeah, I wasn't really interested in it for the particular programs that they had. I was more interested in it for its characteristics. And I think that's another mistake that I made, was not integrating the characteristics with the programs, because obviously you're going for the programs ultimately, and that's something that I didn't really consider. And so yeah, looking back on it now, I probably liked Brown for some of the wrong reasons, and I didn't fully know as much about it as I should have. If you have a dream school right now, or if you just got rejected from your dream school, like, really think about what was it that was making it a dream school to you. Like, was it your dream school for the right reasons? You know, was it for the name, or was it for the location like me? Or was it for the actual, like, programs that they had? Maybe a particular research opportunity that they had that another school doesn't have? Or, yeah, particular classes. But that gets me kind of to another point where, like, a lot of schools will overlap, and they will have, like, some of the same programs, some of the same classes, the same research opportunities, even if it's not, like, that particular thing. A lot of the times it's very, very similar, if not the same thing. And so, yeah, that's just another thing that I wanted to say. So if you're in the midst of the college decision process right now, I would say, regardless of if you have a dream school, definitely have one or two safety schools, like, not just a different set of Ivies or a different set of, like, really elite schools, like Stanford, but two safety schools that you're pretty confident that you could get into. Be okay with the fact that if worst comes to worst, you might end up going to those, and be okay with the fact that that might happen, because you really want to feel passionate about the safety schools just as much as your other options. Like, your safety schools aren't just something that you apply to as, like, a plan D. They should be legitimate options that you truly would be excited to go to them. You know, even if they don't have a great name, they might still have really cool programs, and you'd be fine with checking those programs out. So really make sure that you would be okay with going to that you would be okay with going to those safety schools. And just going back, if I had to say one thing, if you're still in the midst of choosing a college, is to write out, like, the ideal qualities you want in a school. Try to find multiple that meet those criteria, and, like, don't just pin your identity to one school. Because at the end of the day, like, it is just a school, and there's no one path to where you want to get to in life. Like, I'll just repeat that. Like, there's no one path to your goals. There is no one path to your success, your financial freedom, your happiness, a certain career that you want. There is no one school that will get you there. There are multiple schools that can get you there. Maybe you don't even need to go to school. Maybe you could find a different path. Like, there is no one set predetermined path that will get you somewhere. So what is it that you truly want? You know, is it a certain career? Is it a certain income level? Like, whatever you truly want in your end goal is probably not that specific school in itself. Your end goal is probably something beyond that school. And yes, a school can help get you there, but there is no one school that will get you there. So I encourage you to think long term. Think what it is you, like, truly want, and know that there are multiple ways of getting there. Another piece of advice that I kind of have been telling myself is that things happen for a reason. And I truly believe that, you know, all of the discouragements that happen to you truly do help you. There are lessons to be had from failure. The most successful people take failure as an opportunity for growth. And I feel like getting rejected from my dream school was, like, my first major encounter with failure. As much as I hate that it happened, I truly feel like it has taught me how to overcome failure. And I feel like if I got in, I would have expected everything in life to go exactly as I planned. And so it's taught me how to deal with failure, and it's taught me that there is no one path, like I said. Like, there are multiple paths, and I don't know. I feel like if I did get to Brown, I wonder just like if I would have been disillusioned because my dream was so big and like I had basically built up this notion of a dream school. Which is another point that I kind of wanted to get into, is that dreams are an idea. Like, sometimes I like build up these ideas and dreams so big in my head that sometimes they're a little bit disengaged from reality, and those goals that I have take on like so much more of a higher quality than like what those things truly are. So like Brown in my head was like my ultimate purpose. Like, if I didn't get in, that was it. I was done. Like, my one sole purpose in life was to get into this school. And I remember when I didn't get in, I actually felt like the most intense grief. Like, it's like if someone had told me that someone died, like my pet died or something like that was the grief that I felt, because I had truly like attached my self-worth to this thing, and it became a part of my identity. And so because it became such a part of my identity, it became a part of my reality. And that's when I would draw the line, is when your dreams intersect with reality. That's when it's kind of an issue. Anyway, I totally forgot what I was saying, and that was a tangent, and I'm sorry. But yeah, like I was saying, I think I was talking about the fact that it gives you an opportunity to grow. Like, failures give you an opportunity to grow, and yeah, if we never fail, like, life would be super predictable and boring. So just know that we fail for a reason, and that when we fail, we have an opportunity to learn, and it does not mean that our journey is over. It is far from that. Failures might help guide you to like where you were supposed to be, and you know, there's going to be more disappointments down the line, unfortunately, and you know, each one helps to build your character, and it helps to point you in the direction maybe we're supposed to be all along. My final little like tangent here is that admission officers are like truly trying to find candidates that specifically fit the profile for their school. And so they want to find people who can fit into their specific school culture and thrive in that environment. And if you are rejected from your school, maybe take it as a sign that the admission officer thought that you might thrive better somewhere else, and that they didn't see a fit with you and this particular school. But you might be a really good fit somewhere else, and an admission officer at another school might be really impressed, and maybe take heart in the fact that the admission officer knows the school pretty well. And so if you didn't get into this particular school, it might be because maybe personality-wise you weren't a good fit for that school. So yeah, just trust the admission officers, trust that they know what's best for their school, and that they are looking out for your best interests. You know, they don't just want to reject every single person, like that's not their goal. Their goal is to find people who would do well in their school, specifically. You know, it doesn't mean you're a failure, it just means you're not a fit for that specific school. And who knows, you may have dodged a bullet at the end of the day, because maybe you weren't a good fit for that school, but you wouldn't know until you really start school there, and so maybe that just helps you figure out where you truly belong. So my camera just died, so I'm just going to quickly go into some things that you can do if you were rejected from your dream school. I'm filming on my phone right now, so I'm sorry if the quality is a little bit lower, if audio quality is a little bit worse, or the screen isn't as like bright. But yeah, the first piece of advice that I would say is to evaluate the list of schools that you currently have. So make sure, again, that you have safety schools on that list. Make sure that you have similar tiered schools, and then schools even a little bit lower. So you kind of have that like upper tier, mid tier, and lower tier schools. And then what I would do next is to make a spreadsheet. I personally didn't do this, but I wish I had. But I wish I had like taken a spreadsheet and written down all of the factors that I really liked about the school. So the small student to faculty ratio, the maybe specific majors that they had, the open curriculum, the location, the alumni network, things like that. And just make a spreadsheet and then make a column for all of the schools that you have on your list, and then compare each of those factors. So for instance, if it's the student-faculty ratio, make a column titled student-faculty ratio, and then write down every school on your list, their student-to-faculty ratio, and then at the end of the day you're going to see how many factors for each school align with the factors that are to your dream school. And so hopefully you'll be able to get some insights as to which other schools on your list might give you some of those same factors as the dream school that you had. Also, just remember that, again, there is no perfect school, so don't try to find another dream school, don't try to replicate your dream school. Truly just recognize each school for what it is. Each school is unique, and there is no absolutely perfect school, and I bet you your dream school wouldn't have been perfect anyway. Like, I guarantee you there would have been stuff that you hated about your school once you got there, whether it was like the admin or something about the dorms. Like, I guarantee you it wouldn't have been perfect. So remember that there's no perfect school, and just try to genuinely see yourself at each institution. Don't just think of a school as a safety school, so I'm not going to really try on my application, or I'm not going to do my research on the school. Like, genuinely do your research for each school, and genuinely make an attempt to see yourself at each school. Like, if I had to deposit my money here tomorrow, would I be okay doing that? And if you're not, then choose a different school. Also, don't be so quick to choose a school either and just plan on transferring to another school or to try to get into your dream school again. Like, truly give the school that you choose, like, your all, and truly see if you can see yourself being there for 4 years, because like I said, things happen for a reason, and you might actually really enjoy your time there, but if you don't give it a chance, you'll never know. I also really recommend, once you make the spreadsheet, to reach out to students. So reach out to students on Facebook groups. If you already applied to schools, you'll probably have an accepted Facebook group. So post on there, see what other students are like. I did talk about this in my video on mistakes I made in the college decision process. Don't put too much stake in those groups, but just get an overall vibe for the students. Because what I did was I thought the students in the Vassar group chat were so awesome, and there was like a community feel, and then like the second week of school the chat died. So yeah, again, don't attach yourself to the chats, but just get an overall feel for the student body. Yeah, so Facebook chats, Instagram DMs, Unigo is a really good site. It has like really detailed student reviews for good questions like worst thing about the school, best thing about the school, advice for freshmen, things like that. RateMyProfessor.com is a really good one. You probably know that one. Niche is another really good one. So yeah, check out student reviews and make sure you actually talk to students as well. So again, just work on each of your applications really seriously, and then when decisions come out, like, make sure you can genuinely see yourself at each of the schools, and that's kind of when, you visit the schools and narrow it down even more. And my best advice is to consider each school separately from each other, and, don't compare one school to your dream school, because, it was your dream school, and you're probably not going to feel that way about another school, but that doesn't mean that they are not good fits for you. Remember, again, that a dream school was kind of built in your mind, and it still might not have been the perfect school for you. It was just an idea. And how you think about each of these schools will affect how you end up once you enroll. And so truly approach this process with an open mind, and yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to say. That was a super rambly video, and I'm sorry for that. I will try to organize it as best as I can, but yeah, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them below. And again, I just want to say that a dream school does not define who you are. If you were rejected, that does not mean you're any less of a person. It just means you weren't a fit for that specific institution, which again is just a school, and you will find plenty of opportunities regardless of where you go, because it is ultimately like the person who makes the experience what it is, not the school. The school kind of provides the environment, but it's the person that makes the most of that environment to really take advantage of their opportunities and make the best of it. And jobs really care more about experience anyway, rather than the actual school name. So I wouldn't put too much stake in the school that you go to regardless. But yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. I will leave a playlist about all my other college tips and day in the life stuff and my application process. Bye for now. I will see you in the next video.